Hi guys, FPL North here, and this is how I got on in Game Week 22, and also what I'm looking to do for Game Week 23. I've not started the second part of the season quite well, as you can see from the Second Chance League. I'm way down in the 3 million. However, overall rank 11k, still 11k from Game Week 21. I'll take it. So, starting from the top then on how the team has got on. With the goalkeeper, Sanchez, another disappointing game week for Sanchez. As you can see in Game Week 23, I am demoting him to the bench. Just getting a little bit fed up with him now. Looking to transfer him out in Game Week 24, but we can cover that when we get to the Game Week 24 videos. So if Sanchez is on the bench, then who's starting? Well, the player who was on my bench last week and is starting this week is Fabianski from West Ham. I believe that he's going to have more save points against Aston Villa, and it wouldn't even surprise me if Sanchez got dropped after the performance in the last game week. So, gone for Fabianski. Like I said, I'm going to make a transfer in the goalkeeper department in Game Week 24, most likely anyway. So, one more week, we'll just assess it then. Moving into defence, Trent, double-digit return, can't argue with that. And you're not going to bench Trent, especially for a game against Ipswich at home. Spoiler alert, he is the first of the 3 Liverpool players in this team. Next up in defence, we've got Gabriel. Another disappointing week for Gabriel. He's starting to not be worth his money, especially with a lot of players around 4.5, 5 million doing really well. But for now, I've just got bigger fish to fry, so he's staying in the team. And the fixture against Wolves, you never know. He could get a nice bullet header. Potentially a clean sheet if Cunha's head's still turned with transfer interest. So he's definitely staying in. Finally, finishing the starting lineup for Game Week 22 and Game Week 23 is Aina. Unfortunately, didn't get a clean sheet against Southampton, but I think a lot of other people were doubled up with the Forest defence, so that actually probably benefited me overall. He's definitely staying in the team against Bournemouth. A tough fixture, probably won't get a clean sheet, hopefully another assist. Finishing up the defence, both bench players last week and will still be benched this week is Anderson and Greaves. Not really too much to say about them, so let's move on to the midfield and the most popular midfield players, 2 of the most popular players in the game, in Salah and Palmer. Let's talk about Salah first of all then. He's the best captain for this week, the best player to own over the next 3 game weeks with 4 fixtures in there, and his ceiling's that high. If anyone's got the triple captaincy for next week as well, for Game Week 24, well worth playing on. Palmer, we can talk about quite a few people are transferring him out. That doesn't quite make sense to me. His ceiling's so high, his ownership's so high. If he does get a mega haul, it's going to affect your rank so much, it's just not worth it. And going up against his old club in Manchester City, you never know what could happen. This could be a hat-trick waiting to happen. Bruno got me a return in Game Week 22, clawing back some of the points for not going for Ahmad. Happy with that, and he's definitely staying for a Fulham fixture. Not the best, but he's you never know with Man United. They've also been quite up and down this season. Sometimes they do well, sometimes they don't. I think they might struggle against Fulham, who are definitely improving, but he's better than the alternative, which we will look at in a sec. Next up, though, is Anthony Gordon. A blank in Game Week 22, however, he did have 2 shots cleared off the line, so don't let the blank fool you. He could have easily done a lot better. And Southampton away is one of the best fixtures of the season. There's no chance you're not going with Anthony Gordon if you've got him in your team. Finally, completing the midfield is Sarr, who was on the bench last week, did nothing, right decision, and as you can see, I've transferred him out now for Cliver. I made that decision early for budget reasons. I'm not going to play him for the next couple of game weeks, but he looks like the best long-term pick. First of all, up top then, we have Chris Wood, a goal and an assist, and some bonus. Well worth it. Vice captain, should have captained, didn't attack the fixture this time. It didn't pay off last time, so I second guessed myself. Shouldn't have done. But still happy to get his points. His ownership's that high, it didn't really affect anything too much. He was one of the most popular transferred in players last week. He's staying for Game Week 23. Bournemouth away is not as good of a fixture, but Chris Wood can score anyway. He can score at Anfield, he can score at Bournemouth. It's definitely staying in. Isak next up then. He is definitely staying in. Vice captaincy this week just doesn't quite pip Salah with Ipswich at home. I think if Salah was away and Isak was at home, I'd probably look to captain Isak that week. But it is what it is. We're going to play with what we've got. Looking forward to getting some big hauls from them two this week. Finally, completing the Liverpool triple up is Gakpo. Didn't do anything last week. I brought him in for João Pedro, didn't do anything, so that didn't really matter too much. I really brought him in for this fixture in game week 23, the double in 24, and then Wolves in 25, which means that I won't be using the assistant manager chip on Arnie Slot. I'm looking to use that later, most likely in game weeks 31 to 33, but we'll cover that in another video later on. So this is how the team's set up. Please excuse the formatting. It's I've got like a third of a phone screen to chop and change all this with what I'm doing. I know the bench on the game week 23 looks horrendous, I can tell that, and it's that fiddly, I've just fallen out of it. So it's just going up as is. The information's more important, the visuals aren't there. But yeah, so the team, it's looking quite well. I'm really happy with the captaincy headache, but they're two players that a lot of people are all going to have anyway. So the overall effect of them two players doing well could swing if a lot of people go for Isak captain as a bit of a differential pick and Salah blanks. So there is a little bit of a worry there. But overall, really happy with how the team is. Let's have a quick look at the fixtures and what's going on there then. So there is no early kickoff, there's no Friday games or anything like that. The first game is 3 p.m. on Saturday. So the deadline is 1:30 on Saturday. Maybe tune into some streams around then if you're looking on some team news for maybe Newcastle players or Liverpool players, anything like that, against if you've not made your transfers yet. Now, although I did say I was happy with my team, there are definitely some players and some teams which I'm really concerned about not having players from. Mainly Man City. They've picked up a bit of form. Chelsea have been leaky, hence Sanchez being on the bench. So the likes of Foden, Haaland, there's a few people still up there that have got Haaland who would probably keep him for the Chelsea game. They could be really damaging to the overall ranks. Newcastle, I've not got a Newcastle defender. I just don't have a way to bring Hall in with my current strategy, so I can't really do anything there. Brighton look to have picked it up. Mitoma especially has got returns in his past two games. A lot of people might be going in as a bit of a differential, and that could really affect my rank. Spurs is the final one that I'm mainly worried about because there's a lot of good players in there, and they could do really well against Leicester, but I don't think many people will go there. It's just not worth the risk, and you definitely don't want them long term, especially with how they've been performing. Fulham could cause some issues because a lot of players like Raul Jimenez, he's highly owned, but you just never know which Manchester United's going to turn up. So I'm not really worried about that one, although it could definitely cause some issues, and with it being the last fixture as well, it's just a final kick if you've had a bad game week. But yeah, so that's how we're looking. Let me know your thoughts on my team and how you're looking for game week 23, and also let me know your plans for the double game week 24 and potential double game week 25. Good luck this game week. I hope you do well. I hope you all get a green arrow.